Hello, and welcome to this episode of
Ranting with Wolverine.
in which I've been talking about mainly the terminology of things, the reasoning behind kind of the evolution of man somewhat. And here's today's episode in which I'll be talking about something else that would be considered the evolution of man, in which is leaders. In which we have few and far between, actually. By the correct definition of what we have in most of corporations, nations, the world, are not leaders. They're bosses. Leader by standards, as what a picture was like during the building of the pyramids, a boss is what would be sitting on one of the stones directing the people where to go, how to pull and all that crap. Whereas leader is at the front of that line, helping pull, taking most of the weight, because the farther you are from the object, when you're pulling something, the heavier it is to you, the more you have to pull, the more force you have to put into it. And that's what would a leader be. He'd be taking the force for the team, for the people. He'd be, being down there with you in the trenches. A leader, well, by definition, leads by example. If you want you to do something in a certain way, in an essence of, say, a job, in which you're going to be doing over and over again, he will not just tell you what to do, show you via examples. Just from talking, he'll show you from showing you. He's like, this is what you need to do, this, and which is something that we have a very few of. That's why the world looks as horrible as it kind of does right now. So many just riots and what's going on in Egypt right now, and just some shit, dude. It's just, we don't have true leaders anymore. And I'm preferring, to the good leaders, the people we need to truly lead us. Because at one point, Hitler was considered a leader. I don't know what the fuck he was. He was just a horrible person. But just, people to drive others to do great things, to become leaders themselves. Because we're not really growing people to be up to leaders, much anymore. The last great one I think we actually ever truly had somewhat, in the essence of not just leaders, in the world and aspects, but in the corporation area, was Steve Jobs. He was a true leader, pushing the boundaries. He was awesome. But a leader don't take shit from no one, not from on up high, not from on down low, not anywhere in between. A leader will do what it takes to prove what needs to be done, put the heart and soul into what there is. Doesn't matter what it is, anything in the world of nations, of corporations. It could be the smallest thing. They will fucking just do what it takes to show this is something amazing. Could be anything. It could be a restaurant. You really just don't want to. If you want to show how great of a person you are, of how great of this place you work at is, you don't be a boss. You be a leader. And that's what's one of the other problems with the world is we don't have that many leaders. We have too many damn bosses. We need to come back into more of an era of leaders. With, like I said in my last episode, the rise of technology of intelligence pushed towards that is the lower intelligence of pretty much not the world itself, just a force of not needing to know shit, really, truthfully. With phones and just computers and everything, you don't really need to know how to correctly spell via now autocorrect. Someone said that's I'm not sure somebody who really said it. It's like an urban legend, but somebody I heard online stated, no one needs to be taught how to be correctly spell anything, because the autocorrect is in most of everything that our day-to-day lives have, which is just the dumbest fucking thing to say. I mean, autocorrect is okay, but for the most part, you really still need to learn how to spell correctly, because, granted, applications for the most part are online now, but, there's still, places out there that don't take it online. You gotta write out shit, and you ain't gonna autocorrect fuck on a piece of paper. And people would just go online, find the correct way to spell something there, and spell it out correctly on the application. But it should be in essence to force yourself to know how to quickly spell something, especially in your regular day-to-day life. If you're gonna type something out, write something out, come up with a good idea of a way, when you put it out there, first thing of course you want to do is put it on paper, write it out, everything that you need to know about what you're thinking of is, and best way to, especially you want to get that idea onto something permanent quickly. For the most part, you really need to know how to spell what you were trying to write out. Knowing how to spell is a great thing that you need to know. You shouldn't have to think. You know these words. You know the way in which they are to be needed to be said, in what sentence, in which way. But you should also know how to spell them out that way. But I went on a tangent there, outside of what I was saying, which is the lack of leaders that we have in this world today. Which, the only way I can put it is that if we keep making more and more aspects of having bosses and less leaders, at some point we are gonna just not have any at all, which is not a good thing. The time in which we have no leaders is a world I don't want to live on, because that'll be in a time of true, I would say apocalypse, but anarchy. It would be too many people are just thinking they are better than others. That's what truly somewhat of a boss is. They think they know better than others, in which they don't, and they don't accept the idea of what the others might truly know. A leader would. A leader knows, well, I think this, and this, and somebody might say, well, you're kind of wrong, this, and this. And they'll say, you know what, you're right. That's right. Boss won't. I'll say, you know what, fuck you, go away. You're wrong. We need to have less of that and more of the leaders. And, like I said, the day we have no leaders is the day anarchy reigns, the day apocalypse might actually happen because of man, the day in which man may soon become extinct, be wiped off the face of this planet. But that's all for today. We will talk more about some other stuff in my mind in the next episode. I want to thank you for watching this episode of
Ranting with Wolverine.
And please stop it. Don't give me the sad face, mother. Wait, you will see what you want in the next episode.